Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more CSGO news. Some crazy things happening in the past 24 hours. So let's break it down. As always, all of today's stories will be timestamped down below if you guys want to jump around. But in latest news, as of last night, it was actually big taking on Astralis in their best of 3 series. And of course, map 2 went back to Inferno, which Astralis formerly had one of the longest, if not the longest streaks we've ever seen on Inferno. And that streak of 21 maps on LAN has now officially been broken. Now, some sources out there say it was a 19-win streak, some saying 20. According to this, it's actually 21 maps on LAN on Inferno consecutively won, and it was Big Clan taking them down in overtime last night, almost throwing a lead to actually force overtime. Astralis was on the comeback. It was a crazy series. I'll try and link it down below. If you guys did not see it, it was absolutely insane. The strats being thrown out, especially on Big side, and it was crazy as well because I told you all this is the downfall of Astralis in 2019. I don't really, believe that, but nonetheless, it was actually Big losing that series 2-1, but I still think a great win for them, and I think a lot of people, say that'd be a win-win moment. Even though you lost the series, you take down the world's #1 team who had the longest streak on Inferno, and they did it without even using the jump bug, which is freaking great. But either way, super proud of Big Clan and super excited to see where they go in the future. And yeah, some great crazy news out there. On top of that, some not so crazy news. Unfortunately enough, it was a showdown in ECS, also a best of 3 between Luminosity Gaming and Singularity. If you guys watch every one of my CSGO videos, you know the conflict between these two teams. It's their first matchup ever since Luminosity Gaming pretty much was gifted / they stole that ESL Pro League spot away from Singularity because ESL was like, hey, we know by like our typical rule book that, Singularity should get this spot. We're going to give it to Luminosity Gaming though. And then even then the LG players rubbed it in the face of Singularity. So this series was going to be an eventful one. It went all the way to map 3. Unfortunately though, it was actually LG who have now pretty much proven themselves as the better team out there. They've done so on several occasions. That wasn't the issue though, okay? Singularity still deserved that spot, and I will die saying those last words as well. So that showdown series went in favor of LG. But also in big news out there, Dobu from the Chinese scene, he actually plays currently for 5 Power, apparently might have leaked a future roster, although it seems like it might be a troll as well. With this tweet on screen for all of you guys, and apparently it was going to be a potential lineup to play under the new Tyloo tag, but it would no longer be a majority Chinese team. So I'm going to trust Flora, our Chinese source out there, and say this is probably a troll, probably not going to happen. But I mean, I'm not going to deny either from what we've seen so far. Somebody accurate, Ben, Tet, Dobu, and alongside them as well, Freeman. That would be a pretty nutty roster. We're still kind of confused why Freeman actually decided to step down from the Vici Gaming roster. If that does happen post IEM Sydney, like it seems very likely to be, but that would be a kind of an Indonesian, Mongolian, Chinese team apparently playing under Tyloo. So very unlikely, but it would be an interesting team out there. We've seen many compilations of Chinese super teams really fall through. So if this does actually become a thing, it would be some huge Chinese news, which unfortunately a lot of us probably don't care too much about. But if it does happen, that would be insane. If he actually did leak it, then delete it, and it does still happen. And in very big news out there, it has now been fully confirmed. We already probably knew it was going to happen no matter what, ever since Cloud9 got rid of their majority roster for Starlighter Berlin holding down their major spot, and HR did the same as they have now benched Hobbit, who was their last and third member, to hold down their major spot as well. It has now been confirmed by the brand new rules. I'll link the entire rulebook for you guys down below, but I highly doubt you guys are going to want to read through that. But the rules have been established now for those two teams. If they actually do not field the majority rosters, their spots will be lost, which will send Cloud9 back to the North American qualifier or the North American minor, as well as HR to the much tougher European minor. And the new rule has been established. That spot or those spots will now be defaulted to those regions' minor third place winners. So if it does go and actually Cloud9 does not somehow pull a crazy move and pull back some players for them to retain their major spot, and HR the same, they will lose those spots to the third place minor teams for those regions. The rules have now been set in stone. We will see how these teams do react. I don't think Cloud9 is probably going to pull a tricky move here, and if they do, we're going to see some backlash from people out there who think it's a pretty scummy thing to do. HR is certainly still an open option though, because remember, Hobbit is still an inactive player on that roster. He's still on their bench. I think HR is very likely, especially when you compare the North American minor, where Cloud9 would still have a pretty marginal chance, to the European minor, where HR that would be a tough fight for anyone. So we will see what happens if those teams do make changes. And of course, if they do make changes, I will be here covering it and we can all be angry together. But as of right now, it does seem very likely Cloud9 and HR will likely lose their spots unless they make those lineup changes. Now, very lastly as well, yeah, pretty freaking funny for all of you guys who, know the whole draft thing. It was many months ago where Don Hossie ruined my life on Twitter and pointed out that I looked like a giraffe. Now new maps being added for a CSGO update late last night. You know, happy news with this. I really do like the new maps being added, a new cycle of changes out there. Even though these are casual maps out there, it's going to be workout alongside Ruby. And yes, on that map, Don had to point out that there are giraffes. And thanks to our thumbnail guy, Pete, for making the thumbnail. You guys probably already saw it. So but as always, hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of CSGO News. I'll be back here tomorrow breaking down some other stuff out there. If you do want hints, I'm going to talk about Valve for our CSGO Talk episode every Saturday. This Saturday, that being tomorrow, we're going to talk about Valve, how they never show mercy. So, and in a couple weeks, I'll probably do iBuyPower. If you guys are curious about future topics about CSGO Talk or want to comment some down below, thank you very much. And all of you guys who have been leaving comments, I kid you not, over the past 2 to 3 CSGO videos, some super funny comments and just comments that have really made my day. You guys are all freaking awesome, and thank you all for watching as per usual. My name is Jake. I will see you all back here tomorrow, and then Monday breaking down this weekend's tournaments. And until next time, guys, take care.